Canned soup feels like comfort in a tin. Warm, simple, safe. But for anyone over 50, that innocent-looking can could be hiding a silent threat. Sodium levels that spike blood pressure, preservatives straining your kidneys, bacterial risks from seals you cannot see. Today, we expose 9 canned soup brands you must avoid, and the 2 that are actually safe. Coming in at number 9, we have got Baxters. Baxters has been a staple in British kitchens since 1868. The label promises traditional Scottish recipes, hearty ingredients, and home-style goodness. Open a tin and you expect warmth, nostalgia, maybe even a taste of your grandmother's kitchen. The elegant packaging suggests premium quality. The price tag certainly does. Generation after generation has reached for that familiar tin, trusting that name on the label. But here is what Baxters does not tell you on the front of that elegant label. Some of their most popular soups contain over 1.5 grams of salt per serving. That is more than a quarter of the entire daily recommended intake for an adult in just one bowl. The NHS recommends adults consume no more than 6 grams of salt per day. One serving of certain Baxter's soups pushes you dangerously close to that limit before you have even finished breakfast. And remember, the serving size on the tin is often half the can. Most people eat the whole thing. For seniors managing high blood pressure or taking heart medication, that single serving could quietly push sodium levels into the danger zone. The British Heart Foundation warns that excess salt is one of the biggest contributors to cardiovascular disease in the UK. Every gram matters when your arteries are already under strain. Your GP measures your blood pressure at every appointment. Those numbers creep higher. Nobody thinks to ask about your soup, and the betrayal does not stop at sodium. Consumer reports have flagged inconsistencies in Baxter's products over the years. Some tins arrive with dented seals, raising concerns about bacterial contamination. Botulism, while rare, thrives in improperly sealed canned goods. The symptoms start mild: blurred vision, difficulty swallowing, muscle weakness that spreads, but for someone over 50 with a weakened immune system, it can escalate fast. Hospitalization, respiratory failure, in severe cases, death. The Food Standards Agency recorded multiple incidents of contaminated canned goods reaching UK shelves in 2023 alone. The soup might look golden and inviting when you pour it into the pot. It might smell like roasted vegetables and herbs, but that aroma masks what you cannot see. A salt bomb waiting to strain your cardiovascular system. A seal you trusted that may not have held. Ingredients that have been sitting in that tin for months, sometimes years. Baxter sells itself as premium. You pay premium prices, but premium packaging does not guarantee premium safety. Why do you think brands like this can charge more for products that contain the same risky sodium levels as budget options? Something to think about. At number 8, we have Campbell's. Campbell's is perhaps the most recognised soup brand on the planet. That iconic red and white label has been promising wholesome, convenient meals since 1869. In the UK, Campbell's condensed soups line supermarket shelves from Tesco to Sainsbury's, marketed as quick, affordable, and family-friendly. The imagery on the can shows hearty vegetables, rich tomato colour, the promise of home cooking without the effort. Andy Warhol made those cans famous. But fame does not equal safety. But here is the reality Campbell's does not want you dwelling on. A single serving of Campbell's cream of tomato soup contains around 0.9 grams of salt. That sounds almost reasonable, until you realise most people eat the entire tin, not half. The full can pushes you to nearly 1.8 grams of sodium. That is well over a third of your daily limit from one meal alone. One meal, before you have even added bread to dip in it. For seniors with kidney disease, that level of sodium forces your kidneys to work overtime, filtering excess salt from your blood. Over time, this accelerates kidney damage. Age UK reports that kidney function naturally declines after age 40, making sodium management increasingly critical. Nearly 3 million people in the UK have chronic kidney disease. Many do not even know it. For those on blood pressure medication, excessive salt can render your pills less effective, leaving you vulnerable to strokes and heart attacks. Your medication fights an uphill battle against every salty spoonful. And then there are the additives. Campbell's uses modified maize starch, flavour enhancers, and in some products, monosodium glutamate. MSG has been linked to headaches, flushing, and in sensitive individuals, heart palpitations. If you are over 50 and managing multiple prescriptions, these additives can interact unpredictably with your medications. Your GP may not even think to ask about your soup consumption when reviewing your symptoms. They look at your pill list. They adjust dosages. Nobody asks what you had for lunch. Consumer complaints have also highlighted quality control issues. Thin, watery batches that look nothing like the can. Soups that smell metallic straight from the tin. Chunks of vegetables that have turned mushy and grey. Nothing like the vibrant imagery on the packaging. You expect hearty. You get disappointment floating in sodium-laden broth. Campbell's promises comfort. What it delivers is a processed product engineered for shelf life, not for your health. The convenience comes at a cost. For seniors, that cost is measured in blood pressure points and kidney function percentages. Ever opened a can that smelled off but you ate it anyway? Drop your experience below. Now at number 7 we have Heinz. Heinz is a household name. Beans means Heinz, right? But Heinz also means soup. Millions of Britons have grown up trusting that turquoise tin of cream of tomato or that classic chicken soup for sick days. When you feel under the weather, Heinz soup feels like a hug in a bowl. Mum used to make it when you had a cold. Your children grew up eating it. The brand positions itself as dependable, familiar, safe, part of the British way of life. But dependable does not mean healthy. Heinz cream of tomato soup contains approximately 1.0 gram of salt per half tin serving. Again, most people consume the whole tin. That is 2 grams of sodium from soup alone. The British Heart Foundation recommends no more than 6 grams of salt per day for adults. 2 grams from 1 tin of soup means you have already used a third of your allowance before breakfast is even over. 2/3 of your remaining allowance must cover every other thing you eat that day. For seniors managing hypertension, every gram matters. Studies published in the British Medical Journal show that reducing sodium intake by just 1 gram per day can lower systolic blood pressure by up to 5 points. That might not sound dramatic, but for someone teetering on the edge of stroke risk, those 5 points could be the difference between a normal Tuesday and an ambulance ride, between watching your grandchildren grow up and not being there at all. Heinz also uses sugar in many of their soup formulations. Their cream of tomato contains around 9.9 grams of sugar per half tin. That is more than 2 teaspoons of sugar in what most people consider a savoury meal. For diabetics or pre-diabetics, this hidden sugar can spike blood glucose levels unexpectedly. You think you're eating something healthy, something light, something safe for your blood sugar. Instead, you are consuming a sweet, salty trap disguised as comfort food. The texture of Heinz soups often disappoints too. Consumers report a gloopy, overly thick consistency that coats the tongue with an artificial smoothness. The vegetables, when present, are soft to the point of disintegration. You are not eating real food, you are eating a heavily processed approximation of food, designed to last for years on a shelf rather than nourish your body. Heinz has built an empire on nostalgia, but nostalgia does not protect your arteries. Moving on to number 6. Cross and Blackwell. Cross and Blackwell has been producing soup since the 1700s. That kind of heritage suggests quality, tradition, recipes perfected over centuries. The branding evokes images of proper British cooking. Reliable and refined, their best of British range sounds patriotic and premium. The Union Jack on the packaging promises something authentically British, something you can trust. But heritage does not equal health. Testing has revealed sodium content that rivals fast food. Their beef broth contains significant salt levels that can push seniors with cardiovascular conditions into risky territory. One bowl contains nearly as much sodium as a portion of fish and chips. The so-called best ingredients, often bulked out with starches, thickeners and flavour enhancers that your body does not need and your kidneys do not want to process. Here is where it gets worse. Cross and Blackwell has faced criticism over inconsistent quality. Some batches arrive with seals that look compromised, others have an off-putting metallic taste that suggests the lining of the can has degraded. Bisphenol A, commonly known as BPA, has been used in can linings for decades. Research links it to hormone disruption. For seniors with weakened immune systems, consuming soup from a compromised can is not just unpleasant, it is dangerous. The Food Standards Agency has issued warnings about the risks of consuming food from damaged packaging, yet products with questionable seals continue reaching supermarket shelves. The smell when you open certain Cross and Blackwell tins is not always appetizing either. Consumers have reported a sour, almost fermented odour in soups that should smell savoury. That smell is a warning sign. It means something has gone wrong during production, storage, or transport. But by the time you notice, you have already bought it, opened it, maybe even tasted it, maybe already swallowed the first spoonful before your senses caught up. Cross and Blackwell promises the best of British. What you often get is the bare minimum, dressed up in patriotic packaging. Do you think the government protects consumers or the food industry? When brands with centuries of history still push sodium-loaded products onto shelves, the answer feels obvious. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free and it means you will never miss these exposés. At number 5, we have Aldi's Bramwells. Aldi has revolutionised British shopping. Lower prices, no-frills efficiency, and surprisingly decent quality on many products. Their Bramwell soup range promises the same. Good food, fair price, no fuss. For budget-conscious seniors trying to make their pensions stretch further, Bramwell seems like a sensible choice. The price is right, the tin looks solid, what could go wrong? But when it comes to canned soup, Bramwell's cuts corners that matter. The sodium levels in Bramwell soups are competitive with premium brands. And not in a good way. Their chicken soup contains salt levels that approach 1 gram per serving. Their tomato soup is similarly loaded. The price is lower, yes, but the health risks are identical to more expensive options. You save money at the checkout, you pay for it later with your blood pressure. The discount is not worth your health. The real concern with Bramwells is transparency. Aldi's private label products often use the same factories as name brands, but the exact suppliers remain opaque. You do not know where your soup is coming from, who made it, or under what conditions. For seniors who need to trust what they eat, this lack of clarity is troubling. Which? Consumer Magazine has repeatedly called for clearer labelling on private label products, but progress remains slow. The food industry lobbies hard against transparency. They prefer you not knowing. Consumer reviews highlight another issue: inconsistency. One tin of Bramwell's vegetable soup might taste acceptable. The next might be watery, bland, or have an unpleasant aftertaste that lingers on your tongue for hours. Quality control varies wildly. When you are buying food to nourish yourself through illness or cold weather, inconsistency is not just annoying, it is a betrayal of the basic promise that food should be safe and reliable. The texture of Bramwell's soups often disappoints as well. Vegetables that should be firm are mushy. Broth that should be rich is thin. The overall experience feels cheap because it is. Stick around. The fix is coming. But first, we need to expose 4 more brands that could be sitting in your cupboard right now. Number 4 is Lidl's Deluxe range. Lidl, like Aldi, has carved out a space in British retail by offering quality at discount prices. Their Deluxe range is meant to represent the best of what Lidl can offer: premium ingredients, sophisticated flavours, affordable luxury. The packaging looks upmarket. The gold lettering suggests exclusivity. The price feels like a bargain compared to brands at Waitrose. You feel clever for finding it. But deluxe does not mean healthy. Lidl's deluxe soups often contain sodium levels that match or exceed budget brands. The fancy packaging, the elegant fonts, the promises of hand-picked ingredients. None of that changes the fact that you are still consuming dangerously high levels of salt. For seniors managing heart conditions, the word deluxe is a marketing distraction from what matters. The nutrition label, the small print that reveals the truth. Consumer complaints about Lidl's Deluxe soup range have included quality issues that should concern anyone. Soups that arrive with dented cans sitting prominently on the shelf, products that taste nothing like the description on the label, batches that seem to have been stored improperly, with altered textures and off-putting smells that hit you the moment you crack the seal. One reviewer on a popular UK forum described opening a deluxe mushroom soup that smelled like cardboard and tasted like disappointment. They photographed a greyish sludge that bore no resemblance to the appetizing image on the packaging. The deluxe promise also obscures what is actually inside. Many of these soups contain thickeners, stabilizers, and flavor enhancers that have no place in genuinely premium food. You are paying for the illusion of quality. The reality is a processed product with the same risks as the cheap tins next to it on the shelf. The only difference is the marketing budget. Is it not strange how billion-pound food companies keep having quality issues, yet their products are still on every shelf? Makes you wonder who is really checking. Coming in at number 3, New Covent Garden's Soup Company. New Covent Garden Soup Company positions itself as the fresh alternative. Their soups come in cartons, not cans. That suggests a more natural, less processed product. The branding is clean, modern, health-conscious. You see their products in the chilled aisle, not the ambient one. That feels like a sign of quality, a step above the tinned competition. The name evokes a farmer's market, fresh produce, real cooking. But fresh does not mean safe. While new Covent Garden soups are indeed fresher than tinned alternatives, they come with their own risks. The sodium content in many of their products remains high. Their tomato and basil soup, for example, contains significant salt that can affect seniors with hypertension. Fresh ingredients do not cancel out excess sodium. Your arteries do not care whether the salt came from a can or a carton. Salt is salt. Damage is damage. The chilled format also introduces risks that canned soups avoid. Improper storage at any point in the supply chain, whether at the warehouse, the delivery truck, or the supermarket fridge, can allow bacterial growth. Seniors with compromised immune systems are particularly vulnerable to listeria, which thrives in chilled environments. The Food Standards Agency has issued multiple recalls over the years for chilled products contaminated with harmful bacteria. In 2022 alone, over 40 chilled food products were recalled in the UK due to contamination concerns. An outbreak linked to chilled soup products could be devastating for older consumers. Consumer reviews have noted issues with new Covent Garden products arriving close to or past their use-by dates. The shorter shelf life that comes with freshness means less margin for error. If your local supermarket has not rotated stock properly, you could be buying soup that is already on the edge. One customer reported finding a carton with a use-by date that had passed 3 days before purchase. The staff apologised and offered a refund. But how many people do not check? How many elderly shoppers trust the supermarket to manage these things? The texture and taste of new Covent Garden soups are generally better than tinned alternatives. But better taste does not protect you from sodium overload or bacterial contamination. For seniors who assume fresh equals safe, this brand represents a dangerous assumption. You will not believe what the next two brands hide, and the number one offender might shock you. At number 2, we have Tesco's own brand. Tesco is the UK's largest supermarket chain. Their own brand products fill aisles in every category, including soup. Tesco soups are cheap, accessible, and purchased by millions of British households every year. The red and white Tesco packaging is familiar, almost comforting in its ubiquity. Every high street, every retail park, every express shop on the corner. When you see it, you trust it. Tesco is everywhere. Surely they would not sell something harmful. Surely a company that big has standards. But familiar does not mean trustworthy. Tesco's own brand soups are engineered for profit margins, not for your health. The sodium levels in many of their products are alarmingly high. Their cream of chicken soup, their tomato soup, their minestrone. All contain salt levels that can push a senior's daily intake past safe limits with a single serving. And again, most people eat the whole tin, not the recommended half. The serving size is a legal fiction designed to make the nutrition panel look better than reality. A 2023 survey by Action on Salt found that many supermarket own brand soups contained more sodium than comparable branded products. The assumption that budget means healthier is dangerously wrong. You might be getting worse nutrition for less money. The savings are illusory when you factor in long-term health costs. The quality of Tesco soups has been questioned repeatedly. Consumer reports describe thin, watery broths that bear little resemblance to the appetizing images on the packaging. Vegetables that have been cooked to mush. Chicken pieces so small and sparse they might as well be absent. You are paying for the idea of soup, not the reality. The picture on the tin is a fantasy. Tesco also sources from multiple suppliers, making consistency a genuine concern. One batch of vegetable soup might be acceptable. The next might taste different, smell different, or have a texture that suggests something went wrong in the factory. For seniors who rely on routine and predictability in their diet, this inconsistency is more than inconvenient. It is unsettling. You cannot trust what you are getting. The preservatives and additives in Tesco's own brand soups are another concern. Modified starches, emulsifiers, flavour enhancers, ingredients designed to extend shelf life and enhance taste artificially. Your body does not need these, your kidneys do not want them, but Tesco includes them anyway because profit matters more than your health. Why are seniors targeted with heart-healthy labels that hide sky-high sodium levels? The answer is simple: because it works, and it will keep working until consumers demand better. What is the worst supermarket own brand soup you have ever tried? Let us know in the comments. And finally, coming in at number 1, the worst offender, Yorkshire Provender. Yorkshire Provender markets itself as the artisan choice. Premium soups made with love, care and proper British ingredients. The packaging is beautiful, the price is high, the promise is authenticity. Images of rolling Yorkshire dales and wholesome farm produce, stone cottages, wooden spoons. This is soup as it should be, the branding whispers. Traditional, honest, safe, made by people who care. But authenticity does not mean safety. Yorkshire Provender soups contain sodium levels that can genuinely shock you. Some of their chunky soup varieties exceed 1.5 grams of salt per serving. For seniors with cardiovascular disease, kidney problems or hypertension, that single bowl could trigger a medical event. The premium price creates an illusion that you are buying something better for you. In reality, you are buying a beautifully packaged health risk. The countryside imagery is hiding the same industrial salt levels as budget brands. The artisan label also obscures the reality of modern food production. Yorkshire Provender may evoke images of small batch cooking in farmhouse kitchens, but their soups are produced at scale, with the same industrial processes as mass market brands. The difference is marketing, not method. You are paying extra for a story, not for superior nutrition. The farmhouse kitchen is a fiction. The factory floor is reality. Consumer complaints about Yorkshire Provender have included inconsistent portion sizes, soups that taste excessively salty even by their own standards, and products that arrive damaged or close to expiry. The Advertising Standards Authority has previously investigated food brands for misleading artisan claims. Trading Standards has cautioned about the misuse of words like traditional and handcrafted. The premium promise falls apart when the experience does not match the expectation. The texture of Yorkshire Provender soups is often thick and stodgy, masking the flavour of actual ingredients with salt and starch. You taste sodium first, then vague vegetable notes, then more sodium. The so-called chunky pieces are often soft and unidentifiable. This is not artisan cooking. This is industrial food with artisan branding. Marketing dressed up as craft. For seniors who assume that paying more means getting healthier, Yorkshire Provender is the ultimate betrayal. You trust the premium label. You believe the rustic imagery, and in return you get a sodium bomb wrapped in countryside nostalgia. Ever notice how the same companies that fund health-conscious studies are the ones selling ultra-processed products? Makes you wonder who is really looking out for your health. The 2 safe options. Now, the moment you have been waiting for, the 2 canned soup brands that are actually safe. Safe option 1, Biona Organic Soup. Biona is a certified organic brand that takes health seriously. Their soups contain significantly lower sodium levels than mainstream alternatives, often under 0.5 grams per serving. For seniors managing blood pressure, heart conditions or kidney health, that difference is not trivial. It is life-saving. It is the difference between a product designed to nourish and a product designed to sell. Biona uses genuinely organic ingredients with no artificial additives, no flavour enhancers, and no hidden sugars. What you see on the label is what you get in the tin. The vegetables are recognisable. The broth is flavourful without relying on salt. The texture is what real soup should be. Hearty, satisfying, and honest. You can taste the difference immediately. Biona's production standards are rigorous. Their products undergo regular testing for contaminants, and their organic certification means no pesticides or synthetic chemicals in the ingredients. For seniors with compromised immune systems, this level of care matters. You are not gambling on quality control. You are eating food produced by people who genuinely prioritize safety over profit margins. Biona is available at most major UK supermarkets, including Waitrose, Tesco and health food shops. The price is slightly higher than budget brands, but for the health benefits, it is genuinely worth it. Safe option 2, Amy's Kitchen Soup. Amy's Kitchen has built its reputation on organic, vegetarian soups that prioritise health without sacrificing flavour. Their products are widely available in the UK and have earned the trust of health-conscious consumers for decades. The company was founded on the principle that convenience should not mean compromise. Amy's soups contain carefully controlled sodium levels, with many options specifically labelled as low sodium. For seniors who need to watch their salt intake, this transparency is invaluable. You know exactly what you are eating, with no hidden surprises. The nutrition label matches reality. What a concept! The ingredients in Amy's soups are certified organic, non-GMO, and free from artificial preservatives. There are no modified starches, no flavor enhancers, no mysterious additives with names you cannot pronounce. The soups are made with real vegetables, real herbs, and real care. Amy's Kitchen also caters to dietary restrictions that many seniors navigate. Gluten-free options, dairy-free options, and low-fat options are all available. If you are managing multiple health conditions with dietary requirements, Amy's makes it easy to find something safe. The texture and taste of Amy's soups consistently impress. The vegetables retain their shape, the broth has depth. The overall experience feels like eating food, not consuming a processed product. For seniors who have given up on canned soup because of past disappointments, Amy's represents what the category can actually be. Amy's Kitchen soups are available at Waitrose, Ocado, Holland and Barrett, and many independent health food shops across the UK. Your health is not a gamble. Subscribe now, and if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.